everyone. This is PNP TV. What up?
Yes. Okay, I just love that commercial with the little girl. What up?
Oh,
that's my new phrase. What up?
Well, we want to welcome you guys to PNP TV today, Tanya and myself, Celeta. And we're going to continue on our conversation about the different business structures.
Exactly.
Last week we talked about the corporation, the LLC, right? Mm-hmm. The LLC and the sole proprietorship.
Yeah.
And we learned some stuff we didn't know that we're going to go back on review.
Yeah, I had people go in my mouth.
Okay. Yeah, we got fussed at about having gum in our mouth. Okay, today we're going to talk about cooperative and corporation, which I didn't know there was really a big difference, but I guess
didn't know there was a cooperative either.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that's for co-op.
Yeah.
Co-op.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know that they had an article on that. So
yeah. So we're going to talk about cooperative and corporation real quick, and then we have a guest, you guys, coming in later. All right. Tanya, I think I want to let you start today about cooperative.
Okay, we're going to talk about cooperative, which co-op. Mm-hmm. A cooperative is a business or organization owned by and operated for the benefit of those using its services. Profits and earnings generated by the cooperative are distributed among the members, also known as user owners. Mm-hmm. Typically, an elected board of directors and officers run the cooperative, while regular members have voting power to control the direction of the co-op. Members can become part of the cooperative by purchasing shares. Through the amount of shares they hold does not affect the weight of their vote.
So it's actually almost like an even draw across the board is what they're saying, basically. Something like that.
Something like that. It doesn't matter if you have shares or not. It does not affect the weight of your vote.
Okay.
So you can buy all the shares, you're still just
your vote is still a vote.
It's still a vote, and you're still just equal.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how many shares you own. You're still going to get that same vote. So you're one you have 50 shares in the company, in the co-op, and versus my 1 or 2 shares that I may have gotten, we're still equal. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much what they're saying. So it does not affect the weight of your vote. It does not matter. So cooperatives are common in the healthcare, retail, agriculture, which you see mostly co-ops in agriculture,
that's
art
right.
and restaurant industries. Forming a cooperative. Forming a cooperative is different from forming any other business entity. To start up, a group of potential members must agree on a common need and a strategy on how to meet that need. That's why you see more co-ops with farming and agriculture. You hear more, well, at least in the South you do.
Yeah.
You hear about co-ops. An organizing committee then conducts exploratory meetings, surveys, and cost and feasible analysis before every member agrees with the business plan. That means that you have your committee, your board, and you have to do your research, and you have to present it, the board presents that to all the members of the co-op, and then they'll vote on what the next step they want to do. They want to know all the plans. So not all co-ops are incorporated, though many choose to do so, which we personally think the probably is better. If you decide to incorporate your co-op, you must complete the following steps. First, file articles, of course, of incorporation. And this legitimizes your co-op and includes information like the name of the co-op, the business location, purpose, duration of existence, and names of the incorporators. And capital structure. Once the charter members, also known as the incorporators, file with your state business entity registration office and the articles are approved, you should create bylaws for your cooperative. Good deal.
Great.
Creating bylaws. That is the next part of forming incorporating your co-op. While the law does not require bylaws, they do need to comply with state law and are essential to the success of your co-op. Bylaws list membership requirements, duties, responsibilities, and other operational procedures that allow your cooperative to run smoothly. That means you got policy and procedure in place.
Yep.
And it goes exactly by that. That way you don't have any problems or misstep, because remember, you're all equal in this co-op.
And it's not hard to create bylaws at all. There's so many different samples you can find online on how to do to set up your bylaws. Excuse me.
According to most state laws, the majority of your members must adopt articles of incorporation and bylaws. Consult an attorney to verify that your bylaws comply with state laws, which I think is a fabulous, especially if you're creating a co-op. You need an attorney. I would personally get one if we were doing a co-op, but that's not the type that we're going into. Create a membership application to recruit members and legally verify that they are a part of the cooperative. You must create and issue a membership application. Membership application include names, signatures from the board of directors, and member rights and benefits. So remember, you're going to have your board of directors, and you're going to have your regular members in a co-op is what you can do. So personally, if my board of directors would be the people that I started a co-op with, you know.
But also CDW, which is our local program here, where they teach you how to do all this, how to build your board, how to put your corporation together. It almost like a nonprofit is basically is a kind of same setup, and it teaches you how to do all that. So I don't know if everybody else's cities and states offer that, but I know we offer that here.
Find out what's going on in your city and your state.
Yes.
Conduct a charter member meeting and elect directors. During this meeting, charter members discuss and amend the proposed bylaws. By the end of the meeting, all of the charter members should vote to adopt the bylaws. All of the charter members, not just the board of directors, all of y'all. If the board of directors were not named in the articles of incorporation, you must designate them during the charter meeting.
Yeah.
Which is good. That way everybody can agree.
Yep.
Now, obtain a license and permit. You must obtain relevant business licenses and permits. Regulations vary by industry, state, and locality.
That's right.
Use our licensing and permit tool. There's a permit tool on the SBA.gov. So they do offer that if you need to if you're wondering about what you need to do. So, which is good. And you can find the list of the federal, the state, the local licenses and the regulations using that tool. So I think that you should really use this tool. And also hiring employees. If you are hiring employees, read more about federal and state regulations for employers, and all that is available. Each state will have slightly different laws that govern a co-op. Consult an attorney, your Secretary of State, or the State Corporation Commissioner for more information regarding your state-specific laws.
Yeah, and just in case you take and move your co-op to another state, make sure you're abiding by their laws when it comes to that, because they can shut you down.
And as far as employees, you don't have to, unless the people that you started your co-op with, you just guys decide to be the employees or whatever. By then, you're probably going to want, if you're starting a co-op, I'm pretty sure you're going to have employees.
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're doing it in agriculture.
Yeah. Cooperative taxes. Most businesses need to register with the IRS, register with the state and local revenue agencies, and obtain tax ID number or permit. A co-op operates as a corporation and receives a pass-through designation from the IRS. More specifically, co-ops do not pay federal income taxes as a business entity. Did not know that.
Didn't know that either.
Good to know. Instead, the co-op members pay federal taxes when they file their personal income tax. Now, that's good to know. So you actually wouldn't pay federal income tax on the co-op, on the cooperative. You pay it individually on your own personal taxes. Members pay federal and state income tax on the margins earned by the cooperative through the amount of taxation varies slightly by state. So each member who are paying the federal and state income tax on the margins, it's going to differ depending on where you're from. Cooperative must follow the rules and regulations of the IRS subchapter T Cooperative Tax Code, which it will give you the tool to go look that up to receive this type of tax treatment. Learn your tax information. It will sink you.
Exactly.
It will sink your company. Know what you're supposed to file. To file taxes on income received from cooperative, there's an IRS instruction on SBA.gov under the cooperative tax information, and most likely you're going to use a form 1099 PATR, but go to that or to IRS.gov and it will give you all your information. Some cooperatives like credit unions and rural utility co-ops are exempt from federal and state taxes due to the nature of their operations.
So that means that the type of business that you get in when you come to cooperatives has a that's good. That's good. That's good to know. I didn't know
So
that.
check with your state income tax agency to inform to get the information about the state taxes. Can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Learn your taxes.
Learn your taxes.
Let's talk about the advantages of a co-op or a cooperative. Less taxation, of course. Similar to an LLC, cooperatives that are incorporated normally are not taxed on surplus earnings or patronage dividends refunded to members. Therefore, members of a co-op are only taxed once on their income from the cooperative and not on both the individual and the cooperative level. So you're only going to get taxed on your personal. That's where you're going to report your stuff. Funding opportunities is an advantage. Depending on the type of co-op you own or participate in, there are a variety of government-sponsored grant programs.
Yes.
To help you start. For example, the USDA Rural Development, I did know that, program offers grants to those establishing and operating new and existing rural development co-ops. Reduce costs and improve products and services. By leveraging their size, co-ops can more easily obtain discounts on supplies and other materials and services. Suppliers are more likely to give better products and services because they are working with a customer of more substantial size. So being bigger and being a co-op is an actual plus and a benefit. Consequently, the members of the co-op can focus on improving products and services. Perpetual existence. That means a co-op structure brings less disruption and more continuity to the business. Unlike other business structures, members in a co-op can routinely join or leave the business without causing dissolution.
Oh, that's good.
So you don't have to be locked in.
Or you don't have to dissolve the company in order for them to leave, which is great. And make sure that is part of your bylaws and your articles of incorporation. You make sure you have that in there. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Democratic organization. Democracy is a defining element of a co-op. The democratic structure of a co-op ensures that it serves its members' needs. The amount of a member monetary investment in the co-op does not affect the weight of each vote. There it is again. So no member owner can dominate the decision-making process. The one member, one vote philosophy particularly appeals to smaller investors because they have as much say in the organization as does a larger investor. So pretty much if you started the company and you have your co-op, you started with other people and you take some members on and everybody has a vote, guess what? Your vote does not outweigh that vote.
That's right.
Disadvantages of co-ops. Obtaining capital through investors. Cooperatives may suffer from a slower cash flow since a member's incentive to contribute depends on how much they use the co-op services and products. While the one member, one vote philosophy is appealing to small investors, large investors may choose to invest their money elsewhere because a larger share investment in the co-op does not translate to greater decision-making power. So that same thing that's a good deal is a disadvantage too, depending on if you're getting a bigger investor because they want to know that I'm investing this amount of money. I want some decision making. I want to be a decision maker. Unfortunately, in a co-op, they don't have it. Lack of membership participation, which is a problem because you're a membership. It's about members. If they don't participate, it can, cause some problems with the company.
Exactly.
Okay, if members do not fully participate and perform their duties, whether it be voting or carrying out daily operations, then the business cannot operate at full capacity. If a lack of participation becomes an ongoing issue for a co-op, it could risk losing members. And those are your disadvantages. Makes perfect sense.
And that's the cooperative. And that's a business structure. Now let's talk about cooperation real quick. Okay. Let's talk about what a cooperation is. And most companies are set up in the cooperation type, especially our big major companies.
Yeah, we're not on corporation level.
No, we're not.
But we're going to tell you about it. Yeah. Look, I'm going to tell you about it anyway.
Okay. A corporation, sometimes referred to as a C corporation, is an independent legal entity owned by shareholders. Again, we talk about shareholders. This means that the corporation itself, not the shareholders that own it. It is held legally liable for the actions and debts the business incurs. The corporation itself holds the debts. Okay. Corporations are more complex than other business structures because they tend to have costly administrative fees and complex tax and legal requirements. Because of these issues, corporations are generally suggested for established, larger companies with multiple employees. For businesses in that position, corporations offer the ability to sell ownership shares in the business through stock offerings, which they call going public. Through an initial public offering, IPO is a major selling point in attracting investment capital and high-quality employees. Now, forming a corporation. A corporation is formed under the laws of the state which it is registered. We all go back to registration. To form corporations, you'll need to establish your business name and register your legal name with your state government. If you choose to operate under a name different than the officially registered name, you'll most likely have to file a fictitious name, also known as or doing business as your trade name, short for doing business as. State laws vary, but generally corporations must include a corporate designation, corporation, incorporation, limited. So they have to have either one of those in the name, which didn't know that either. At the end of the business name. So, to register your business as a corporation, you need to file certain documents, typically articles of incorporation, which we talked about, with your state secretary of state office. Some states require corporations to establish directors and issue stock certificates to initial shareholders in the registration process. Need to contact your state business entity registration office to find that information out. It says once your business is registered, you must obtain business licenses, which that's for every business. Regulations vary by industry, state, and locality. Use our license and permit tools to find that out, which I think is a great tool. You were saying that earlier. Okay, if you're hiring employees, read more about federal and tax regulations for employers. Then it says corporation taxes. Corporation taxes, are required to pay federal, state, and some cases local taxes. Most businesses must register with the IRS and state and local revenue agencies and to receive a tax ID. If you have a business and you don't have a tax ID number, you're opening yourself for some serious tax trouble. That's plain and simple. When you form a corporation, you create a separate tax-paying entity. Separate. The word is separate. Regular corporations are called C corporations because the subchapter C of Chapter 1 of the Internal Revenue Code is where you find general tax rules affecting corporations and their shareholders. Unlike sole proprietors and partnership, corporations pay income tax on their profits. In some cases, corporations are taxed twice. First, when the company makes a profit, and again, when dividends are paid to shareholders on their personal taxes. Corporations use IRS Form 1120 or 1120A, U.S. Corporation Income Tax Return, to report all their revenue to the federal government. Then it says shareholders who are also employees pay income tax on their wages. The corporation and the employees each pay 1/2 of their Social Security and Medicare taxes, but this is usually a deductible business expense. Advantages of corporation: limited liability. When it comes to taking responsibility for business debts and action for a corporation, shareholders' personal assets are protected. Shareholders can generally only be held accountable for the investment in stock of the company. Good to know. Ability to generate capital. Corporations have an advantage when it comes to raising capital for their business. The ability to raise funds through the sale of their stocks. Corporate tax treatment. Corporations file taxes separately from their owners. Owners of a corporation only pay taxes on corporate profits paid to them in the form of salaries, bonuses, dividends, while any additional profits are awarded a corporate tax rate, which is usually lower than a personal income tax rate. Attractive to potential employees. Corporations are generally able to attract and hire high quality and motivated employees because they offer competitive benefits and the potential for partial ownership through stock options. Very good.
That goes back to, remember when Mitt Romney was running for president? And just couldn't figure out how they was making all that money?
Yeah.
And taxes, he wasn't paying much taxes. Guess what?
Absolutely.
They got a corporation, and guess what they get to do? They get to write that off.
Exactly.
When they pay taxes, they can go back and write it off. Or write, there's so much stuff they get to write off. That's why they're paying fewer taxes than your average lower income and middle income families.
Exactly.
So that's how the rich get richer.
The rich get richer.
It's just knowing. Knowledge is power. I mean, I definitely didn't know it. You're like, what?
Okay. Disadvantages of a corporation. Time and money. Corporations are costly and time-consuming ventures to start and operate. Incorporating requires startup operation tax costs that most other structures do not require. Double taxing. In some cases, corporations are taxed twice. First, when the company makes a profit, and again when the dividends are paid to the shareholders. Additional paperwork. Because corporations are highly regulated by federal, state, and local, in some cases local agencies, there are increased paperwork and record-keeping burdens associated with this entity. So,
double taxing.
So we
double
won't do. Yeah, because actually
you get to write off.
Some of that you can get to write off.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about the business expenses and stuff. We're going to break that down too later on. But the next time we talked about all of these. Let's go back a little bit. And what are the other two structures we talked about so far?
Sole proprietorship. Limited liability company, which is LLC, which that's what we are. And then again today, cooperative, which is a co-op, and corporation.
Yep. So the last two we have to do, and next time we come is partnership and S corporation.
Yep.
So you guys, you see, when you make a decision to open up a business, you definitely need to go to SBA.gov because it has a lot of information that you can use. And I mean, it's like my Bible when it comes to certain things because I don't want to make no mistake. I don't want to do anything wrong. We don't want to do anything wrong when it comes to our business dealing. Then when we finish doing this, we're going to start talking about our products.
Yeah.
Our next two shows will be about our, shows after the
next one. Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. We're going to bring our products in and actually let you see our products. This morning, I put on my pink candy lotion. It smells so good. God, I just love it. And when you get out the shower, the Phat and Phabulous feet, oh my God.
Yeah, I know you just swear by it.
This is not because it's our product. It's because it really works.
Thank you.
I mean, soft, creamy. I mean, it's like you want to